glove warmer. Woo! That's toasty in there, man. I like that. I like it. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, get yourself one of these 700-pound glove warmers.
put it here. Good morning, boys and girls. Can I clear? No, I think I can't. Wrestling with this fucking bike. Alright. Oh my goodness. Oh, good morning. I should have just done that off the bike. Whew. We are in Albuquerque. The Quality Inn in Albuquerque. More like the fucking low quality inn. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this place is... this hotel's pretty shitty. Pretty shitty. I stayed here for 3 nights. Oh, let's get the fuck out of here right fucking now. Oh, let's go. Oh my goodness. Where am I going? I think I'm going this way. Let's just go this way. And then I gotta turn around. Yeah, so I'll get into Albuquerque in a second, but what the fuck I'm doing here? Come on, I need to get across all those lanes. What? Yeah, I mean, this fucking hotel, man, god damn it. You know, like, I booked the place and it says it's in the University Plaza. Does this look like a fucking University Plaza to you guys? Does it? Well, it's not. Because I figured, like, well, University of New Mexico or whatever. I figure, okay, well, there's going to be, you know, it's going to be pretty secure. There's going to be police. There's going to be, like, takeout restaurants. Because that's where I try. Anywhere there's a university, there's always, like, cheap takeout, man. And that's what I'm at. Cheap takeout that's not far, that's within walking distance. And that's the best, right? And so it's just like, it's not that, you know. What else? Yeah, that's what I want. And like the place, I mean, it's not that bad, but like right, but like there's like starting at, like, I don't know, probably midnight, or maybe it was ongoing throughout the evening and I only noticed it when it was fucking waking me up. But like, I'd hear the door slam outside my room, and it would like every fucking 20 minutes the fucking door would slam, like somebody, like, and so and there's actually a sign on the front of the hotel that reads, we are no longer renting rooms to Albuquerque residents. I'm like, oh fuck yeah. So this place is a real fucking dump. You got people living here, right? And they're not the kind of like not like Alfie, you know, or like the well-to-do socialite that just loves to be pampered living here. They're fucking shitballs living here, and I've talked about that in the past. And yeah, don't I feel like a fucking chump for paying whatever $60 a night to stay there when you got people paying probably like $300 a month to live there. Anyway, so like it's pretty clear that like there's a drug operation going on in this hotel, because why is there so much fucking traffic in the middle of the night? You know, like 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., this kind of shit. And you know, they keep the fucking door propped open to the outside, and you're right, so usually you have to have a key. It's on the rear end of the hotel, and usually you have to have a key card, but they just put a, you know, they prop it open with a rock or a rug or whatever. And so I wasn't really happy about that. And like, and then the other day, so like, I got my GAT pretty close. It's like, so I wouldn't choose places like this necessarily to save money, but the thing is like, a lot of the times they're fine. But I kind of should have known better because it's in the city. But again, the fucking said University Plaza. I'm like, we're good. And a lot of the times where I'm not talking about the shitty hotel in my vlog or whatever, it's because the hotel wasn't shitty. And it's not because I paid a lot of money for it, because that, I wouldn't say it never happens, but it's very rare that I'm going to pay a lot of money for it. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to not pay a lot of money for a shitty hotel, or I'm going to not pay a lot of money for a nice hotel, and I'm going to do my damnedest to just not pay a lot of money, period. Oh, sweet, dude. That was cool. That was really inspiring. He's just a rule breaker. That's really awesome to see on a motorcycle, some fucking piece of shit cholo blowing through a fucking red light in a 15-year-old luxury car. Fucking shithead. Fuck this place. Really, there are some really nice areas in Albuquerque. This isn't one of them. Get the fuck out of here. So yeah, so you got whatever the fuck illegitimate operation going on inside this fucking building, not just inside the building, but basically outside of my fucking room. And got a button my strap there, and that's not fucking cool. And then the other day, or yesterday, I don't know why the fuck I stayed there for. I guess I don't know. Because the second night I stayed there, well, I stayed there the first night because I just rolled up, but I booked it for 2 nights because I had a phone interview the following day in the middle of the afternoon. So I was like, well, fuck, I guess I'll just hang around Albuquerque and go for a hike or something, and then I'll just come back to the room for the phone call, and then I'll talk about hiking later. That was a pretty awesome experience. But anyway, so that's why I was there for more than one night. And it was like yesterday, I heard some fucker at my door, like turning the fucking knob and shit. It like sort of, I heard like a murmur and turning the fucking knob, and like so I go over there, I go over to the door, and of course, there are of course I have a heater, and I say in like a stern voice, like, get the fuck out of here, there's gonna be trouble. And like, the dude, there's a guy on the other end who was like, oh, sorry, man. And I don't know, maybe he was just just maybe he's an old guy. I don't really know. I didn't really look. I mean, he was on the other side of the door, and I didn't look through the peephole because I'm just not. I'm keeping distance. I'm keeping distance. Anyway. And then last night, I hear this. So I don't normally have a GAT like on my fucking bedside, but like I am at this place. It's not freaking me out that much, but I'm still like not, I'm still not all that comfortable. And it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like I've said before, it's kind of a pain in the ass if I'm staying in town to switch hotel rooms. Just from one hotel in town to another one in town, because if I can't, a lot of these shitball hotels, you can't check in until 3 p.m. If they don't have any vacancies or whatever. And I don't know, I can't find out very easily because I usually use Hotwire, and that's what gives me the lowest price, so I don't know which hotel. Otherwise, I would just call and be like, hey, if I book a room, can I check in right now? Anyway, so that's part of the reason why I didn't switch hotels. The other part is I had already booked 2 nights. I actually stayed a third, and I'll get into that in a second. Well, last night, so I hear this fucking loud crack, like this crackling sound inside my fucking room. and I like, you know, wake the fuck up, and I'm like, what the fuck is that? And that's it's just, and that's like that. It's almost, I don't know. It's just bizarre because it was a bizarre sound. Anyway, I go, like to the door. There's nothing in the door. And like, you know, look into the bathroom, and the fucking the sink is backed up and overflowing, and the water was splashing onto like the hard floor, and that's what I heard. And right, so so like, I didn't leave the faucet on. It's just the, you know, the fucking drain from other rooms or whatever back the fuck, so all the shit going down the drain from all the other scumbags in the fucking hotel is backing up into my fucking bathroom. And it didn't smell good, and like, it was fucking, man, it was fucking no good, dude, no fucking good. And like, the listing said free breakfast, right? And on the counter is just like a bowl of fucking shitty vending machine muffins. It's like, that's it. Like, and a lot of these fucking shitholes, right, they, like, the whole COVID-19 thing is just an excuse to just not provide services. And the good hotels, like the Holiday Inn Express and stuff like that, like the Holiday Inn Express is my fucking joint, man. That's my place. I like that place. I don't know that I've been to one that I haven't, like, well, no, I stayed in one in Roanoke, Virginia, and that place was a fucking dump. But all the other ones I stayed at are fine, are great. And instead of just being like, oh, fuck you, no breakfast, motherfucker, you know, they'll have a staff member serve the breakfast because, like, they don't want to handle the food or whatever. I mean, it's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. It's fucking retarded. There's no reason for any of it. That is the social distancing and the face masks and the fucking not touching things, whatever. It's nonsense. It's nonsense, and pretty much everybody knows it. Anybody who isn't a fucking window-licking retard has figured this out by now. Long time ago. So I stayed at this place for 2 nights because I had a phone interview on the second day, right? Like, as I mentioned, basically about 15 minutes into the phone call, basically like a fucking fight erupts out in the hallway outside my fucking room. And like, I'm trying to answer fucking challenging, stressful fucking questions, and like, there's some shit like, there's people like hollering and shit outside my room, and I'm like, oh fuck, oh, and like, what do I was debating, like, what do I do here? Do I just try and ignore it and tune it out and just try and deal with it, because it's loud, you know? Or do I say, oh, hang on a minute, and do I go out there and try and ask him to fucking be quiet? But I mean, you know, these fucking cholos and chiquitas in this fucking hotel room, like, yeah, I'm just gonna reason with them, and whatever kind of crazy fucking hood bullshit is going on, probably a dispute over fucking meth or whatever, like, I'm just gonna be like, oh yeah, please shut the fuck up, brownies, and like, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, sorry about that, yeah, right. I'm sorry, I said brownies, that's derogatory and racist. I apologize for that, boys and girls. I'm just frustrated. So I decide not. So I just tell the people I'm on the call with, like, hey, yeah, sorry, there's some crazy stuff going on. I'm gonna try, and I'm hoping it's not such a disturbance. I'm gonna try and deal with it. And they're like, yeah, we understand, no problem. And so I'm hoping that that's the best way to handle it. You know, I just try to keep a calm head, try to stay cool. But yeah, I mean, like, looking back on it now and talking through it, it sounds worse than it really was. And like, the guy trying to get into my room, like, I think he was just some old confused guy. Like, I don't I don't think he meant ill. I just think he's just some old dummy. Maybe not old, but just some dummy. He wasn't trying to do anything. He was just being a dumbass. And that's like one thing that like I try to remember, and I try to pass on to other people, which is like, most people are inherently good. Most people are inherently good most of the time. And but I mean, in circumstances like the ones that I perceive as a risk, and as why I keep a heater with me on these trips and in a lot of places in my life, right? It's only, a fraction of a percent of these people that can fuck up your life or end it. You know what I mean? I try to keep that in mind, and I try to just kind of go with it. And shitty situations. This situation wasn't that shitty. I mean, it was shitty, but I mean, you get used to it. And I mean, one thing I learned is humans can get used to just about anything, and like, even like really awful shit humans can get used to. It's kind of bizarre. Like even really bad illnesses and shit like that. Like over time, there's something in that, I don't know, the brains of most humans that demonstrates really strong resilience in people in general. I'm sure there are exceptions, but like there's something in our brains that just adapts to shit, and you just get used to it. And I've known people that have been badly fucking ill for long periods of time. And that's not to say that like life is just fine. Just get used to it and life is fine. That's not what I mean. But like, I guess I just mean it's kind of remarkable that how much people do get used to shit. And it's not to say that people just are fine with bad situations, but it's remarkable how people get used to shit. I mean, like, of course, we always try to make our lives better, or for the most part. And that's the thing too. If you've ever experienced, like, take material goods for instance. If you've ever wanted a thing, or money, or whatever, a house, or that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes these material things, right? If you get the material thing that you wanted, you'll find that like not much time later do you sort of go, you come back to normality, and then you think like, oh, life is gonna be fucking awesome when I get my new car. It's gonna be so fucking good. And like, there are aspects of your life that are gonna be good, like you'll be able to get to fucking work on time reliably, or more reliably, right, than your shitty old car. But like, before long, your level of happiness is not any greater than it was before you got your new fucking car. And I remember when I was a kid, it's hard. Like I think, well, for me it took until my adulthood to sort of get a handle on this. Maybe even I could even say recently, within the past couple of years. But I remember when I was a kid, one of my friends, his dad had like a golf course, and like a go-kart track, and like an arcade for like a fun center thing. And like, I wanted to be friends with this kid, because like, fuck, you go hang out at his house, fucking ride go-karts and like mini golf and shit like that. I'm like, I like this, I'm gonna be friends with this guy. And I was like, dude, how awesome is it to have your own fucking go-kart fucking track, man. How awesome is that? Well, I don't think I said fucking, but I may have. I was probably in like 4th or 5th grade. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He was like, yeah, it was pretty awesome when my dad first built the go-kart track, but now it's like, you know, whatever. I got other stuff to do. And I'm like, what? I'm like, fuck you, man. Like, if my dad built the go-kart track, I'd be fucking riding that go-kart every day for the rest of my fucking life. And but my dad never fucking built the go-kart track, so who the fuck knows? Maybe right now, boys and girls, I'd be fucking talking to you from the seat of a go-kart riding around the fucking track. I don't know. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't though. But right, it's sort of interesting how that shit happens, man. And so what the fuck? Yeah, that was a big bump. So it's kind of a shame they put that big fucking divot in like the middle of the fucking highway. It's kind of inconvenient they put it there. Right, but it's kind of why that's why we find new experiences so stimulating, you know. Is because old shit's old and it's not, you know, it's not stimulating to a lot of us to a considerable degree. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we'll table this discussion until the next shitty hotel I stay at, which will probably be maybe in California. But I'm gonna plan to. So I'm gonna plan to go to San Diego because I think that'll be cool, and I'm gonna try and stay in a not shit hotel in San Diego because that'll just be a good experience. Like staying in a shitty hotel in Albuquerque, it's like, you know, how much better is a good hotel gonna be in Albuquerque? You know what I mean? But like staying in a shitty hotel in San Diego, well, I guess what I mean to say is the impact, just the impact and the experience of a nicer hotel in a nicer place is just stronger than a nice hotel in a not so nice place. Having said that, Albuquerque isn't not nice. It's just the city. There isn't much, right? There isn't much sort of culture to the city. Like there isn't anything special about the city itself. You know, what's cool about Albuquerque is the surroundings, right? And someplace like San Francisco has got them both. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of snooty shit going on in San Francisco, but there's a lot of neat stuff in the city, like places to get food and parks and stuff like that. And then there's also the surroundings with the bay and the bridge and that sort of thing. So when I stay in places that I think are going to be like that, or when I stay in places like that, I try and step it up a bit. You know, when I go to stay in Spokane, Washington, I'm not looking for the fucking 4-star joint in Spokane. Now, in fairness, having learned my lesson, I'm not looking for the 2-star place either. But anyway, so a couple days ago, I stayed in, where the hell was I? Grand Junction, Colorado, and I was headed south, basically sort of east. I went sort of east into the state and took a road, Route 550 south through the Rocky Mountains, which was you know what? It wasn't not just unbelievable or incredible. It was unbecredible. Yeah, or no. It was fucking unbecredible, man. I'm not gonna use that word again. That was dumb. But yeah, I mean, that was cool. That was a good decision. That was fucking cool. And it was fucking. I was concerned. If you watched my video as I was leaving Grand Junction, I was concerned that it was going to be cold and potentially dangerous. And those concerns were later validated. It was really fucking cold. it was really fucking cold, and but it was really beautiful, and parts of that ride, man, were really nice roads, and like really smooth tarmac, and like you're riding through the fucking Rockies. I guess yeah, of course they're the Rockies. And right, there's snow everywhere, and you've got that, you know, the craggy, snowy peaks all around you, and you're riding in this badass canyon on these quite nice roads. It was cool, man. And sort of before the road got really mountain passy, I was up on. I went through this town called Ore. I think I'm pronouncing that right. Anyway, which is like there's like your textbook sort of picturesque Colorado small mountain town. Like it was fucking cool. I stopped to get gas and there's no attendant. They're just like, you know, put your card in and good luck. But that's cool, man. Where they still have a main street. I say still have a main street. There's nowhere else. I mean, this town is sort of sandwiched between these cliffs, so there's no room for expansion. So like you have the downtown, so you have like a couple of diners, and of course you have a sportsman shop with guns, and like a hardware store, and like that's it. You know, no fucking super Walmart here. And that was cool, and got up into the, just basically as soon as you get on the road going out of that town into the mountains, it starts getting all just twisty and like interesting, and like this road was like it's just on a fucking edge of a cliff, and it kind of made me a little bit nervous because like I don't know, there's no guardrail, and it's like I don't know, it's a long way down. I mean, long enough of a way down where it doesn't matter whether it's whether it's 200 feet or like 5,000 feet. It doesn't fucking matter. You're fucked either way. But it was fucking beautiful, and yeah, it was really fucking cold. But I had some warmer weather gloves that I borrowed from my brother. Thanks, Pete. And I'm not giving them back. So I took from I just took them from my brother basically. But they're a little bit warmer, and they're Gore-Tex, and yeah, they're the shitty rain gloves I was talking about. That was pissing me off. And so when I like pull over and take pictures and shit, like I would just take the glove off and set it inside sort of the gubbins of the engine, and just let it sit on the engine there, and the glove would like heat right up, and I put my hand in a nice toasty glove, and that was fine. That was totally fine. And but so then I headed down into Albuquerque, where I stayed for the next 2 nights, and I told you all about that. And then I was on the second day, I was debating, because I went before I had that job interview that was actually just a fucking plane crash. I went for a short hike on I guess the Sandia Mountains. It's kind of just a sort of cluster of mountains, or cluster of peaks. And I went for a short hike. I think it was like 1,000 feet up and like a couple miles. And I was thinking, man, like, because the last time, if you watched my video leaving Albuquerque last year, I was like, man, I was on the interstate looking up at that mountain. I was like, dude, that's so cool. So I wanted to fucking climb that goddamn mountain. And so I feel, and I'm not in as quite a good a shape as I was last year, but it's still not bad. And I was like, fuck it, man, I was like, fuck it, man, I'm going for it. It's one of those things where, like, once I got it into my head, and I was like, you know, it's gonna be fucking, dude, it's gonna be tough as fuck, and it's gonna be tough, it's gonna be a pain in the ass, but, like, I gotta fucking do it, you know, and, you know, when, like a lot of things in life, once you sort of, if you ask the question, would you regret it if you didn't do it, then you fucking know the answer, you know what I mean? You know the fucking answer, and I was like, God damn it, I'm staying another night, fucking night in this place, and I'm going to that fucking mountain. I'm gonna fuck that mountain. Yeah, and it was fucking incredible. For one, the weather was fucking perfect. I mean, it was cold, and it was cold basically all the way up, because I started about 9 a.m. Basically, I just kept all my shit. Like, I kept a lot of my shit back at the hotel so that I could wear my gear going to the mountain and then lock it up in the sort of empty cases on my bike, and I was really hoping that nobody fucked with my stuff while I was hiking, and I was really excited to see that they didn't. Nobody did. If there was somebody that wanted to fuck with it, they didn't, and I'm thankful to them for that. And also, my stuff back at my hotel room, also they did not fuck with that stuff either. So I was just over the fucking moon. And then on top of all that shit, I made it to the top of the fucking mountain. I made it back down again, all alive. No broken. I may have broken a couple metatarsals or something like that, but no serious fractures. Like, dude, a fucking win, man, a total fucking win. And then I had Chipotle. I was not moving. Once I got back to the hotel, I was not fucking moving. My fucking body was just annihilated. My fucking quads are fucking burnt. They're fucking burnt, man. If I had to go up a set of stairs, well, too bad. You're staying at the bottom, because there's no fucking way my legs were gonna carry me. I would say it's probably not as difficult as the Grand Canyon when I went rim to rim last year, but you know, up there. I mean, it's definitely second place of hardest hikes I've ever done, which, you know, it's not a real, that list doesn't have a bunch of crazy shit on it. Yeah, so you're going up, like, I don't know, 3,500 feet, somewhere between 3,500 and 4,000 feet elevation gain. The top of the peak is over 10,000 feet. And Albuquerque is at around 6,000 feet, 5,000 or 6,000 feet, I think, but I don't know I don't know the elevation of where I started. Anyway, fucking long. I think it was 3,500 feet, I want to say. I'll just annotate it if I don't. I already probably did that. Thanks, Future John. No problem. But yeah, that was tough, and it started to get pretty cold. So I mean, I started and it was cool, and then as I went up, the day warmed up, and it basically stayed the same cool temperature the whole time I went up. And then when I got up, it was probably 60 degrees at the peak, and windy as fuck. So I was kind of cold, and actually I was pretty. I was just wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I was rather unprepared. I did tell somebody where I was in case of some kind of a problem. Say, like, if you don't hear from me by this time, you know, send a fucking search party or whatever. But even then, I was underprepared, and that probably, if I would have had a problem, I think that would have been very bad, because I forgot my fire starter on trips like that. I always forget the shit. There's just a little fucking thing, but that would have been so critical. because there was almost, I saw like a couple of, like maybe like 2 other people on this trail, especially once you start getting high up into the mountains. There's nobody up there. Like, there's some people that do like the lower bit of the trail and then go back down again, but like there's fucking nobody way up there. And like I mean, the biggest thing I'm worried about is losing your mobility. I mean, I think there's wildlife, there might be bears or shit, and also sketchy trail people. I was debating whether or not to take my gun, but like, I mean, trips like that, I'm trying to minimize the amount of shit that I'm carrying. You know, the more and more shit I see people that do some of these day, like, I call them day hikes, but they're really hikes that only would take like an hour or something, you know, not very big hikes, in Pennsylvania or North Carolina or wherever, not very big hikes, and I see people carrying all this fucking shit, and it's like, like, it's just, when you're carrying all that shit, it just makes the experience a lot less pleasant, in my view, and like, it makes you less mobile and slower. It's like, you know, it's like, well, if I'm gonna have a trip that takes 3 hours or longer, I'm gonna need a pack. Like, okay, well, you took a 2-hour trip and you added all this fucking shit, and now it's gonna take you damn near twice as long. So like, if you didn't, you know, your trip would have been shorter if you didn't take the fucking pack, and you know, you're taking the pack and you know, further ladening yourself is, you know, sort of forcing you to have to take a pack, if you see what I mean. What was I saying? But what I'm most concerned about is if I lose mobility. You know, and there was a boulder field that went on for fucking ages. I mean, it must have been, it felt like fucking 500 miles of fucking boulders, which was not a problem going up, because you're kind of taking big strides and climbing and shit, and that doesn't really bother you. But when I'm going down, I'm trying to just cruise, and that's where that shit's a problem. And you know, you fuck up your ankle, and my ankles are pretty strong. I mean, I'm pretty strong, but like, that's a big worry, is you fuck up your mobility. Like, you fall, like, you take a fucking fall off of one of these. I mean, you take a fall off of some of these cliffs, which are just right by the trail. Like, you're in pretty big trouble. But even something as simple as rolling your ankle real bad, or spraining or breaking your ankle or something, you know, that can just put you, you know, that can slow you down from about 3 or 4 miles an hour to like 1/10 of a mile an hour or something like that, to where you're basically, the best you can do is basically fucking crawl. And that's kind of what I should have been more prepared for. I should have brought my fucking fire starter, and I didn't think to, because I didn't have any other fucking gear. I was in shorts and a t-shirt, and it gets down overnight, it gets down into the 30s. I mean, most of the way up it was probably in the 50s. Yeah, probably in the 50s Fahrenheit, in shorts and a t-shirt. But I mean, I was pumped, you know, I was pushing pretty hard, so I was staying warm like that. But you know, even if you don't come back on time and somebody starts looking for you, I mean, I don't think I would have survived, right? You know, overnight, there's no way I would not survive overnight. But a fire starter, you can start a fucking fire, and it's not going to be fun, because you're going to have to keep the fire going, and you're going to have to sort of rotisserie yourself around the fire to keep you warm, because I'm basically naked, you know. But you can survive. And fuck, I'm just so stupid for that. But I think I had cell service almost the entire time, because you're not far from the city, and they got cell towers on top of the fucking mountain. But you know, I didn't know that. For all I knew, there was no you wouldn't have any means of contact to the sort of outside world. So I don't know when the fuck I'm gonna learn my lesson. Maybe I won't, and I'll just fucking end up as a fucking casualty. But yeah, maybe, I don't know, the tinder was probably dry enough. I might have been able to start a fire rubbing sticks together, but I don't think so. Anyway, boys and girls, carry a fucking, you know, a magnesium fire starter with you, because that'll fucking save your bacon. If you get into a fucking jam and you lose your mobility and you're out in the sticks, it's not like this is like in the fucking wilds of Alaska, but you're far enough away, and it's not like even if you could call for help, it's gonna fucking be a while before they get to you. I mean, not that long, I guess a few hours, but you know, in 40-degree temperature or lower with no insulation, it doesn't take long to go into hypothermia if you're sedentary. And if you got a broken leg or some shit, you are sedentary. Anyway, so I did that, and I ran back down. The trail's pretty nice because there's no, it's a pretty steady grade the whole way up, and you're going up, and like, it's just, I mean, it's one of those hikes where you're like you're walking up a trail into these fucking crags, and it's one of those things where you're wondering, well, how the fuck is this trail just gonna stay a normal trail and not turn into a fucking rock climb? And somehow it does. Somehow the trail switchbacks and wiggles around and stays basically, you know, just walkable. And it's fucking wild, but like, man, that was cool. It was fucking tough, and I'm good on hikes for a little while, but that was fucking tough. And then I got down in the parking lot. I ran, and I was running. My thighs and my feet and my calves were just totally exploded. Right, they're fucking done. They were pumped, and like now they're beyond pumped, and they're just like fucking shoe leather. They're just aching shoe leather on my fucking muscles and my legs. But like, I get down to where I can kind of jog, I can kind of run because it's not so rocky, and I start running like pretty fast. It doesn't take, it's fairly low intensity because you're going a slight downhill grade. Like I said, the grade was fucking great because it was downhill enough to where you could scoot, but it wasn't like downhill enough to where it was burning up your thighs and you're having trouble kind of, you know, keeping yourself from falling. But like, I'm running it, and I get that kind of that feeling, which I guess I sort of had at the top, where you're pushing your boundary. You're outside of your normal regime of operation in terms of physical exertion, and like, I'm basically hyperventilating, and like, I'm gasping for air, but not in like a really bad way, but just in like a I'm fucking struggling kind of way. And like, once I get down, back down to, I don't know, 2,000 feet off the deck, off the base, and I can run, and like, you're still outside of your normal regime of exertion, but like, you sort of, I feel like, and because it was low intensity, I could still go, and it felt really good. It was like, you know, basically a sort of a runner's high, which, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I enjoy on a regular basis. I mean, I think I kind of almost get there when I regularly run, but I'm only running like a couple miles at a time. And definitely you're not feeling shit for the first mile, but like, and you know, most runners would be like, yeah, John, that's bullshit. You're not feeling runner's high until like 10 miles or something. And I don't disagree with it, but you start getting some energy. Like, after you run for like a mile, after I run for a mile, and I'm into the second mile, or say the third mile, and you sort of start to find some strength and some rhythm, and you start, you know, I'm not necessarily saying that's the runner's high, but it's like, you start getting into it, and it's more exhilarating. You're getting more exhilaration out of it, and it's not just work. Whereas like the first mile is fucking work. And so I'm getting that exhilaration, and it's feeling pretty good. And it actually started to feel kind of like emotional, not just in like fucking. It's weird, just emotional in a weird fucking way. Because I'm just not used to. I'm not used to pushing that hard for that long. I've done it before, but I'm not real used to it, and it was good to sort of know that I can get back there, and I can do it. And I get down to the parking lot, and I'm fucking, I'm groaning. I'm literally groaning, and I'm just like, I guess you probably didn't need that, but I was literally groaning, and like this guy is getting out of his car to go for a hike. And he's like, you good, dude? I'm like, oh yeah. And because basically before this, like my head was not feeling good. My head was not good, and like my legs and my thighs were feeling too good. So you gotta do something about that. If you got strength, your fucking brain is not good, and you got strength, go fucking use that strength and clean up your fucking head. This guy's like, you good, man? I'm like, yeah, oh yeah. And I'm like, have you done this before? And he's like, no, I'm not even from this state. I'm like, where are you from? And he's like, oh no, I'm from Pennsylvania. And he's like, and I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, where are you from? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm from Pittsburgh. And he's like, shit. Well, and so he responds like, well, I'm from like 50 miles east of Pittsburgh. And I'm like, okay, like, because I usually say Pittsburgh because people know Pittsburgh. I don't tell them that I live in a smaller town 50 miles east of fucking Pittsburgh. But basically, this fucking guy is like, where was he? I think he said it wasn't from my town, but like basically we're from the same fucking place. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fucking funny. Basically he was from a neighboring town, very very near Latrobe, Pennsylvania. It's fucking hilarious. But yeah, so that was good, and that made it all worth it, right? And out, yeah. So my bike didn't get fucked with. It's still fucking going, and the hotel, like I'm as far as I know, I didn't catch anything. At least if I did, I haven't contracted it yet. And it's all good, man. And New Mexico's fucking beautiful, and that Sandia Mountain is awesome. I should have mentioned, when I decided to do the trek up the mountain, so from the day previous, I knew that there was a tram. So there's like a gondola that goes up the fucking mountain, basically from the parking lot all the way up to the top. And I'm like, fuck yeah, man, I'm gonna hike up that bitch and take the tram down. I don't know why they call it a tram, because I thought trams were like small trains. But anyway, look, don't blame me, boys and girls. I didn't make up the name. It's a tram. Maybe I'm just totally wrong about that, but I would call that like a gondola or like a ski lift or what the fuck ever. Anyway, I'm like, I'll just go back down, and I'm actually pretty glad that I did not take it down, because I got a lot out of the exercise going down. I mean, it was painful. It was fucking painful, especially the fucking boulder field. But I got a lot out of going down, and but the reason why I didn't go down was because the shit was closed. It's like they close on certain days. I think they do it just to fuck with us. It's kind of funny because I probably man, like, I don't know how I feel about those I mean, it's awful high off the ground, man. Like, you're just strung on this cable, dangling, like, really fucking high off of these cliffs, man. And like, I mean, I probably would have been okay with it. I mean, I would have been like, if I would have planned to, if the thing was running, I would have done it, and I would have been uneasy in the beginning. Well, I would have been uneasy the whole fucking time. Let's not kid ourselves. I would have been uneasy the whole damn time, but that kind of shit gets me kind of a little bit nervous. If I see, I'm more comfortable. Like, if I see other people, if I'm with other people and they're chill, that helps me a lot. And I know, and don't, you know, it's I don't know if it's really a you know, like an acrophobia or something like that. I mean, well, for one, I don't even think acrophobia is a fucking thing, like fear of heights. Like, for something to be a phobia, it needs to be sort of not reasonable. It needs to be a not, like, there's no such thing as a phobia of fucking lions, right? Like, there's a good reason, like, it's totally reasonable for you to be fucking fearful of lions, or sharks, or fucking dangerous fucking things, right? And like, when you're high off the ground, you know, that tiny mammal part of your brain, the part of your brain that you have in common with, you know, fucking squirrels and you got it, buddy, it's okay. The part of your brain that you have in common with, well, small mammals, right? That's the thing that says, oh, you know, your what do you call it? Your sort of visual cortex is indicating to your fucking rat brain that you're high off the fucking ground and this is not a safe place to be. And so that's why I kind of, it's a totally fucking reasonable response to fucking feel anxiety when you're high off the fucking ground. But anyway, I probably would have done it. It does calm me down a little bit more to see other people and if they're chill about it. And actually, I probably feel okay also if I see other people and they're freaking out over it. You know, because there's something there too that, like, it gives you a little bit more strength, like, because you want to be, like, I want to be the not pussy. So if somebody's being a total bitch about it, and I'll be like, this is nothing, see, look at me, I'm not a total bitch like you. And so, there's some aspect of that sort of social interaction, social behavior that can help you overcome adversity as well, right? If somebody else is afraid of something and you want to rub some shit in their face so that you can somehow overcome the fear yourself. That's really funny. It's mean, it's funny.